Throughout my gaming career, if it can be called a career, I have earned around 103 platinum trophies, and I am here to tell you how utterly pointless trophy hunting is. Developers thought of a way to increase engagement with their games by creating trophies that players can interact with and pad the play-in time for their games because they know that out there, somewhere, there are mentally blighted people who are going to collect hundreds and even thousands of these trophies. I started with this hobby 10 years ago, and I'm here to tell you about the ups and downs of achievement hunting. First of all, let's start with a point in favor. If you're a completionist, you're going to suck the juice out of any game that you buy and leave them drier than beef jerky because once you finish the game, you're going to go for those collectibles, for those side quests that you know that you haven't finished because that sweet Chivo sound hasn't popped, and in that process, you'll wreck hours upon hours upon hours after finishing the game. Instead of deleting it like any common peasant like me would do because I don't have an external memory and also Call of Duty installed. So instead of deleting it, you keep going to clean everything up and add 20 or 30 or 40 hours to it. I can think of a game that where this happened to me, and that's Vampire. At first, I was going to finish the story, and that was that, because the game, although interesting at some points, didn't really caught my eye. Eventually, I finished the story, and I was going to delete it, but I was going through my achievement hunting fever, and I saw that I didn't have many chivos left to get the platinum, so I said, let's go for a second playthrough, because there was an achievement of drinking the blood out of every NPC and leaving those small settlements to be destroyed by the vampires. So I added another 20 hours to that game because I had to do a second playthrough. So I got my money's worth, and that's awesome. Secondly, you get to try new games if you are really into it. This War of Mine was a great surprise for me. I wasn't going to go for that game because that genre never caught my eye. Fallout Shelter style, where you have to take care of the people inside and send them out on hunt, scavenging for resources while taking care of your base. So I wasn't much into it. And I saw that the difficulty of the platinum for that game was a 5 out of 10. So I decided to give it a try. And eventually, I wasn't playing only for the platinum, I was actually having fun, so that was a great surprise. It was even a time where I bought My Name is Mayo, that dumb game where you just have to click on the cookie jar or whatever was it and keep improving how many cookies you get. I don't even know if it was cookies anymore. It was a long time ago, but I had some great laughs with a flatmate of mine while playing that game. So even though it was an easy platinum, and I mostly bought it for the platinum because I saw that you could get it in like half an hour and the game only costed €1, it was surprisingly fun. So no shame in it, or yes, shame in it. Next, getting achievements sometimes unlocks new skins and weapons for games, and that's one of the few things that Ubisoft has done right in their whole career. You know that sometimes some challenges, in-game challenges, they are tied to some achievements, and once you do them, you get some Ubisoft points that you can spend on weapon skins, character skins, and even though most of their character skins, I never use them because they break my immersion. I mean, I don't see the sense in having Edward Kenway dressing as Ezio. It breaks my immersion, but it's good nonetheless to have it there because it's a great way to make players go for extra challenges, giving you things like things that you can use in game. I remember that Persona 5 also had something like that. If you subscribed to PlayStation's newsletter, you could get some avatars or themes for the PS4, Persona 5 related. So that is a great way to motivate players to go for extra challenges and keep adding hours to your game. And in the PS5, not only you'll get screenshots for the moment you unlock new achievements, but also you will get automatically recorded 15-second videos where you can see the activity what you were doing before the achievement popped. And I think this is very nostalgic. It's a great way to recall things that you were doing in the past because I don't know, for instance, sometimes I find myself going through the achievements list, the media gallery, just to see what I was doing with my friends when we were playing together, for example. It's nice to see it now. 2 years ago, after the first time we unlocked, we got to gold in Rainbow Six Siege, and to listen to ourselves recorded in that video, how ecstatic we were because we got to gold for the first time. We were quickly demoted right after, but still, we got it. And having it there forever, it's like a time capsule that you can visit whenever you want. Me, myself, I'm a very nostalgic person, so I love to see those details from the past, like getting to see that short video and imagining how much fun I was having at that moment and how easy life was back then. I would also count PlayStation Star's service as a good motivation to get platinums and achievements, but that's not the case because in that service you have 4 levels, and you can increase those levels from 1 to 4 by buying games and earning achievements. The rarer the achievement, I think, the more points they give you to increase your level. But it's pointless. Increasing your level is completely useless because from levels 1 to 3, the only things that you get are PlayStation's idea of an NFT, where you get pretty collectible. I think those are 3D collectibles that you have. You can put them on your shelf and showcase them to whatever player visits your profile. Although that doesn't happen quite often because now that I think of it, I never visit people's profiles. It's completely pointless because you cannot do anything with those collectibles. You cannot sell them. That would be a great business idea and a huge encouragement for people to go for more trophies. But no, you cannot sell them. You can just collect them. They have zero value. It's just to show, hey guys, I completed this challenge and I got this in return. Yikes. And level number 4, it's hilarious. You get faster customer service when you call PlayStation for when you need their customer attention service because you're having a problem with a game or you want a reimbursement. So you get faster attention from their customer service. That is so useless. Like in my whole life, I've only spent 3 minutes talking to people who work for the PSN staff, because I had some issues with my game. But that's that. 3 times in my whole, I don't know, 17, 16, 15 years that I have had contact with PlayStation services. And you're not even going to notice it because if you're getting faster attention, you're only going to know that it's because of PlayStation Stars if you log in into the PSN webpage and you go to their FAQ and read the questions. But nobody does it. So what's the point? What kind of reward is that? Come on, man. Well, moving on from this, I'm not going to turn this video into a PlayStation Stars rant video, but I just wanted to vent out my frustration with that pointless system that they have created. Getting achievements also create a sense of community. I think the Chivo community is wholesome whenever you can get in contact with a person who's looking for the same achievements as you mostly. Because, for instance, I remember that I was playing Dark Souls and I was having a tough time beating the hosts that I invaded, and I needed to kill some hosts for one of those spells that they lock behind kill 30 hosts requirement, and it just takes too long because to find people and then win the battles, and mostly those battles are going to be 2v1 or 3v1 because, well, people don't care about giving invaders a fair fight. They just want to be done with it and continue progressing through the level, and I understand it. So I found a person who was interested in getting the same achievement as I did, and we just let each other kill each other. Like first, he allowed me to kill him 20 or so times, and then I did the same thing for him. And after we got the spell we wanted, we proceeded to go fight against some bosses together. He summoned me, I summoned him, and we had a great time. And I think that would not have been possible if achievements didn't exist. Also, getting a very unusual achievement can give you a pathetic sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. For instance, do you remember that CD Projekt Red released a standalone title for Gwent for consoles and PC? And I played it quite a lot. It was available on consoles from 2018 until 2020. It lasted less than 2 years. And I got the platinum for that. And the game is not available anymore for consoles because they discontinued the service since the game was not very popular on consoles. It's nice to have it, I guess, because no one else can unlock it. And also, it was quite difficult to get it. I think it's only 0.3% of players who install the game who have it. So, yeah, that's that, I guess. Now, moving on for the negative things. First of all, it makes you play unnaturally. There are some games where achievements are really hard to get. Like when you go to the platinum page, it says that the difficulty it's like an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. Those are the games where you have to play, I don't know, maybe 2 playthroughs, and they are quite lengthy, maybe 70, 80 hours if you focus on the main campaign alone. The Witcher probably doesn't require 2 playthroughs because there are difficulty-related achievements, but you can just go for the maximum difficulty on your first playthrough. But I think you would just be damaging yourself in most situations because first you have to get used to how the game works and see for yourself everything without excruciatingly difficult NPCs and monsters behind it, right? You won't have much fun if your first contact with the game is on the highest difficulty. So you mostly go for 2 playthroughs, and then you have the Gwent cards, who are missable depending on which side quests you have completed or what characters you have helped or something like that. So yeah, missing a Gwent card and then noticing that there is an achievement related to collecting all Gwent cards sucks. And it's really frustrating that you have to restart a whole playthrough just to get your full deck of cards. So these things can happen, and it's really annoying. And it wouldn't be annoying if you weren't going for the platinum, because it doesn't matter if you don't collect Redanian Soldier level 1 card, right? It doesn't matter. It wouldn't affect you at the slightest, but you need it. You need these useless cards that you would never use to get the platinum. Besides making you play unnaturally, sometimes you dislike a game, but the platinum for it is really easy, so you push through this barrier that you have created to play and get the platinum. And I think that's really sad, and I'm guilty of it. I played 2 games that I think I didn't like very much. They were Burly Man at Sea, which, you know, it was a nice adventure where you get multiple endings depending on the things that you choose. But at that moment, gaming is a very seasonal thing, right? Sometimes you want to play shooters, sometimes you want to play horror games, sometimes you want to play RPGs. I was not in the mood to play Burly Man at Sea at that moment. Maybe now, yes, but not at that moment. And I still pushed through it because I wanted that easy platinum. And that's not something to feel proud of. Also, The Order 1886, graphics, the game. Although highly marketed by PlayStation because of the graphics fidelity and all, the story was very lackluster, very boring. The gunplay, well, it was there. The boss fights were really basic. Most of them were just quick time events, and that was straight up pathetic. And I still did multiple playthroughs of it. First to finish the game, then second, I don't know if there was difficulty-related achievement, and then thirdly, to get the collectibles that were left. And I didn't want to do it, but I still did it for the platinum. Besides that, gaming becomes neither relaxing nor fun, because sometimes you just forget that you are playing games to have fun, and you push yourself to do things that you don't want to do, just to go for the platinum. And I think that's really sad. For example, farming nights in An Orlando in Dark Souls 3, to get those, I don't know what's the percentage of the drop rate of the item that you need for them to drop to get a spell that is tied to the achievement. But it's very frustrating because maybe it's like a 1% possibility with many items equipped to boost your luck to get this item, right? So you spend, no joke, no exaggeration, maybe 10 hours doing the same course, going up those stairs, killing the same two NPCs, which are not weak NPCs, kill them, maybe get the item, maybe not, bite your tongue, uh, pull out your hair if you don't get it, go back to the bonfire, sit, reset, and do the same thing over and over and over. And what can I say? Like, yeah, I didn't want to partake in multiplayer because I think that the multiplayer in Dark Souls 3 sucked quite a lot with all the lagginess and the infinite rolling. So no, I preferred to farm NPCs. At least it was a more consistent experience, but still, it was very tedious, very boring, and I was not having fun, especially since I was doing it for the achievement, not for the spell, because whenever I play Souls games, I don't create characters that use spells. I mostly go for big bonks or dexterity with katanas. So yeah, a very frustrating experience. Sometimes before buying a game, you develop the habit of going to the internet to check on the game's difficulty for the achievement. And it's such a bad habit because you don't get to enjoy some games that you would otherwise like just because you see that the difficulty of the achievement is quite high. When I was at my peak of achievement hunting, I was like, okay, anything higher than an 8, I'm not going to go for it. And I don't know, I feel like that's an atrocious behavior, very obnoxious, because I can understand not buying games like, I don't know, I cannot think of any right now, but I can understand not buying bad games with high achievement difficulty. But imagine passing on Red Dead Redemption 2 just because the achievement difficulty is one of the highest. I think it's a 9 out of 10 because there are so many things that you have to do. You have to study all of the animals in the game, and the fauna is very extensive, and the flora too. So you have to study the plants and the animals. Uh, Partially missable because there's a zone in the game that you can only go once, and there are animals that belong only to that zone. So you have to look on the internet for a glitch that there's a location where you can pass out and then spawn in this location, but it's too much of a hassle. And let's not start talking about the multiplayer achievements. Red Dead Redemption 2 is it's a great game. It's an amazing game, one of my favorites of all time. But its multiplayer is horrendous. It's really boring, tedious, disgusting. So, no, I don't want to play its multiplayer. But imagine passing on its single player just because I know I'm not going to play multiplayer and hence I'm not going to unlock the platinum. It would be a huge wasted opportunity. Sometimes you get extremely annoyed because some games, they contain DLCs that you don't want to buy because they are not good or because they are too expensive. So you unlock the game's platinum, but the bar on the trophy list, it's like 80% out of 100%. You still have the platinum, but you want to see 100% out of 100%. Yeah, so yeah, that is annoying. Not the worst thing on this list, but it's there. It's there. Sometimes developers, they are assholes, and I'm putting it lightly because they really want to increase the playing time of their games by creating very tedious or very grindy achievements. And I'm talking about Mafia 2. It's a great game, but there was an achievement or a couple of achievements that were centered around getting some posters and some magazines, Playboy magazines, and they were scattered all over town. So, first of all, you had to check a guide because, well, naturally, you're not going to find all of these posters and magazines by yourself unless you are really dedicated into it. So you have to look for guides, which I hate. And secondly, they don't give anything to you in the game. There's not a single reward for getting those magazines and those calendars and whatever that was. So I'm just doing it for the achievement. And it's a huge waste of time because I'm just driving around Empire Bay, grabbing this magazine. Of course, you have a nice picture, but the calendars, for example, or other things that I don't remember that you had to collect, they had nothing to offer. So an amazing waste of time. And people still do it because, they want to get the achievement, but I would give a lot right now just to go back in time to, burst that bubble and wake myself up from that fever dream. Like, come on, stop doing this. You're not having fun. You're just doing it to get an achievement that you're not going to care in the future. It's just going to be one more on the list. Sometimes you are even forced to play lackluster multiplayers to get them. I've already mentioned Red Dead Redemption 2. But also GTA 4 had a very lackluster multiplayer, and the achievements for it were really difficult. Like, you need a synchronized squad to do everything because there were some time-limited events, well, not time-limited events, like some missions that you had to finish in less than this amount of time, and it required, like, perfect precision, synchronize the squad with microphones. That's what I'm talking about. It was too try hard. And other lackluster multiplayers like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, also a great single player experience. Anyone who would like to experience a good pirate game should try Black Flag, but its multiplayer was horrendous. And I've seen some YouTube videos, and there were people in the comment section saying that they had fun with it, and I'm happy that there were some people who actually like it. But me, I despised it because it was a team deathmatch where you had to hide around and surprise people and kill them, and that was pretty much it. Like, they gave you a target. The target was someone online playing the same match as you, and you had to sit on benches or disguise yourself in groups of people walking and surprise the person who was looking for their other target. It was not very inspiring, I think. But yeah, I'm glad that there were some people who enjoyed it. I certainly didn't, and I would never go for the platinum of Assassin's Creed Black Flag just because of that. And lastly, if there are some buggy or unfinished games that can make you really angry, and I'm looking at you, Bethesda. I am looking at you. Missing a small secondary quest can be a small annoyance because, if you're like me, even though you're not going for achievements or trophy hunting, you like to finish everything because of rewards, because of lore, because of more gameplay time. But sometimes, mostly Bethesda games in my experience, sometimes NPCs, they literally don't spawn, so you cannot continue the quest. Sometimes they don't continue giving you dialogue. They just give you one of those generic-ass replies like, "Good morning to you, good day." So you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? I cannot advance in the quest because it's not giving me the proper dialogue. And it is really frustrating because now you're going to have to start a new playthrough and you will have to do everything that these achievements required. And imagine that it bugs again, so you will have to do a third playthrough. I even had a very hilarious story with Skyrim that I think not many people had. It was quite unique. So there was an achievement where you had to collect like around 12 or 13 Daedric artifacts. Those were armor or weapons from deities from the game, right? So you had to do quests to get them. There was one where there was a sword hidden in a room in Whiterun, and to get this quest, you had to talk to the innkeep. But if you do a mission, I'm not going to spoil it to you, even though the game is already 14 years old, but okay. If you do this mission, then the innkeep will change. There will be a new person, so you cannot get this quest. So it's missable. That's the first sin. And secondly, I found a way to get the sword without activating the mission, which was like triggering chaos inside of the Jarl's castle. And then some people started running and they bumped into that door and they opened it. And then I could see the swords at the back of the room, and using telekinesis, I pulled the sword towards me. And I got the sword and I started using it and killing people with it, monsters, ogres, whatever. But I did not get the achievements because I did not get quest completed. No, 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 no. I got the sword. I'm using it. Why am I not getting the achievements for the Daedric artifacts? So I had to start a new playthrough just to do all of the missions of the Daedric artifacts just to get this last achievements for the platinum. I think that's disgusting. If in the achievements description it says, obtain all Daedric artifacts. That should be it. I had in my inventory. I could use it. So why do I need to complete the quest to get it, right? So, for me, the conclusion of the day is if you're a trophy hunter, I know it seems that that shit makes you happy, but once you step out of that bubble and recall the moments that you had to watch a 2-hour guide to find all of the collectibles, or those 20 hours beating the shit out of the same NPC over and over and over to get that 0.1% drop rate item, or other miserable, insufferable situations, you will see that it was like a relationship with a deranged chick where the happy, fun, enjoyable moments last for a few minutes and everything else is about anger, frustration, and a waste of time. Doing YouTube was a lifesaver for me because now that I make videos, I don't have time to, spend collecting 100 posters and magazines that won't give me a damn thing inside of the game. That doesn't mean you cannot get something good out of it because there are YouTubers out there making a name for themselves because they get platinums, very hard platinums for some games, and they make videos about it, detailing how was their experience, or some other channels where they create guides for finding those 100 posters or other types of collectibles. So I think it's all about drawing a line where I don't know, I tried to draw it between having fun and experiencing new play styles and doing it only for the trophy. I think the latter is where most go hollow, so try not to do that if you can or if you want. All right, comrades, see you in the next video. Bye bye, trophy hunters.